Kia ora koutou katoa. Good afternoon and welcome back from the long weekend. As many of you will be aware, the PM's flight to Antarctica has had to return to Christchurch due to bad weather at McMurdo Sound. Options are currently being assessed as to whether to make another attempt to travel in the next day or so, and we'll have an update on that as soon as we possibly can. The Prime Minister's visit to Antarctica to see the work that is planned to refurbish Scott Base and celebrate New Zealand's 65th anniversary on the ice is something that she was very much looking forward to, and we hope will be able to continue. The work our scientists do there is critical for the environmental protection of this unique part of the world. We know Antarctica is part of our history, and we need to keep working to ensure it's also part of ours and the world's future. A few items to note for the week ahead before I will briefly share some reflections on economic issues. Firstly, with the swearing in of Soraya Peki-Mason earlier today, New Zealand's Parliament is now 50% woman for the first time, one of only 6 countries in the world that is currently in this position. It is a significant moment in the democratic representation of New Zealanders. At a time when we have a female Prime Minister, Governor-General and Chief Justice, it is further evidence of the strides that we're making in gender equality. A photograph to commemorate the parliamentary representation will be taken in the next few weeks. This week also marks 5 years since the swearing in of the Labour-led government. It has been a tumultuous time to be in government, but I'm confident that we have steered New Zealand through the challenges we have faced as a country, as well as any other country, and that we have made significant progress on issues such as child poverty, climate change and healthcare. There's always more to do, but I am extremely proud of what we have achieved in these last 5 years. As I mark 5 years as Finance Minister, I want to briefly share some reflections from my recent World Bank and IMF meetings in Washington, D.C., and why I continue to believe that there is a cause for optimism in Aotearoa, New Zealand, as our tourism sector looks forward to a summer full of visitors. I knew heading into the meetings in Washington, D.C. that the global economic outlook was sobering. This was confirmed by the IMF's latest set of forecasts, with growth projected to slow to 2.7% in 2023 and more than a third of the global economy projected to contract this year or next. The mood at the meetings was relatively downbeat. Much of the discussion revolved around the reaction of the financial markets to the UK's mini-budget, the energy crisis in Europe, the US and China relationship, and the state of globalisation in an increasingly polarised world. New Zealand's prospects are very much tied to events overseas, and there will be impacts on our economic prospects from what is happening globally. But I remain convinced that New Zealand is as well placed as any other country to deal with what will be a difficult year ahead. A record number of New Zealanders are in paid work. We produce goods and services the world wants. Our books are among the world's best, with debt levels well below those of our peers, and we are among a small number of countries with some of the best credit ratings in the world from the leading ratings agencies. There is also a cause for optimism as we welcome summer, and with that, the ongoing return of international tourists and the important economic boost accompanying them. I do want to acknowledge the tough times that the tourism sector and other sectors have had over the past few years as COVID has raged around the world. The government has invested more than $650 million to help the industry through and set up new conditions for them. It's encouraging that August 2022 was the first month in nearly 2.5 years where a holiday has been the most popular reason for travel by overseas visitors, replacing visiting friends and relatives. Backing up that news is international card spending that is already at 88% of pre-COVID levels, and a projection that between $350 and $510 million will be spent over the 2022-23 summer period by cruise passengers. Regional ports will benefit, Timaru, for example, seeing 12 cruise ships over the next year, and Stewart Island 20. Our Great Walks, which opened on Monday, now have nearly 20% of bookings made by international visitors, bringing yet more visitors to our region to see our stunning natural beauty and experience New Zealand's hospitality. Our clear message is that New Zealand's border is fully open. The summer season is fast approaching and international bookings are flowing through and adding to the economy. While we can be optimistic for the future, we continue to take a balanced approach and to target our spending where it is needed most, while investing in building an economy that is more resilient and provides greater economic security for New Zealanders. The government, like all our other households in the country, is adapting to circumstances that are outside our control. There are no costless decisions, and tough choices still need to be made. But we do so with a focus on what matters to New Zealanders: growing wages and cost of living pressures, hospitals, schools, housing, and addressing climate change, while ensuring we do get on to a sustainable pathway back to surplus and lower our debt as a proportion of GDP in line with long-term averages. Those that make promises that are uncosted, untargeted, and inequitable put that at jeopardy, as we have seen in the United Kingdom. Happy to take your questions.